Tom Clements again with King Air Academy. Now we started the engines running here at low idle. I wanted to demonstrate, talk a little bit about beta range rigging on the power lever and the dead band. So to start this discussion, I'm going to now take the condition levers to high idle, and the N1 speed comes up to about 70%. And even though at this point the propeller is a fixed pitch propeller, we're not yet on the governing range, but that extra power brought us up to around 1400 RPM. As you know, when the power lever comes up and back, we are manually relocating the low pitch stop to a flatter and flatter blade angle until finally it reaches the flattest, and then it starts going into reverse. Well, the flatter the blade angle, the less rotational resistance the propeller has, so it'll turn faster even though we're not sending more air through the engine. So, up on the left side, I'm coming back. RPM is going up even though I'm not adding any fuel flow or power to the engine, just because the blade is getting flatter. So what I'm going to look for now is where does the peak RPM occur before it starts falling, indicating that we've now left the beta range going reverse. As you can see, it's still coming up. And there it starts going down. Now if I come forward, it rises again. So this airplane, it appears to be that the tail end of my power lever shaft is about the letter F when it's at that truly flat pitch position. All right. Let's try the other side too. Come back here. It'd be nice if they're absolutely identical. Rarely is that the case, but we hope to get pretty close together. The blade's flattening, less rotation resistance, RPM rising. Starts falling. It looks like we have about a third to a half of power lever knob split there at flat pitch. Now I'm going to return to low idle at this time. What I hope to see is that with the blades at flat position, the engine will still return to low idle, which in this raised-back converted airplane is 60%. Well, ideally, as soon as the blade starts going negative, we would leave low idle and have the fuel control start increasing speed of the engine. So I now want to see where that is. So remember, the F was where we got flat pitch position, it's left side. I continue back until I see the power start to increase, N1 go up. Notice the RPM going down. Blade's going negative, but we have not yet added power. Right there we pick up. We're leaving that dead band, the dead band where I can move the power lever and nothing happens to the engine. That's why it's called a dead band. But right there is when I leave it and start going up. Now my back end of that power lever is between the F and the T. Well, that's real close together. That's a nicely rigged setup. If it's within a half an inch or so, I'm quite happy with that normally. If I come back to idle, again, no change, still in that dead band. But as soon as I go forward, again, I should leave the dead band and start adding power normally. There it is. So I've got about a half an inch of travel or so here before it does, but that's just fine. What I don't want to see is that by the time I've got the power lever to idle, it already increased speed. That's referred to as idling on the power lever instead of idling on the condition lever in the low idle setting. So that looked pretty good. Now let's try this side. I'm already at that flat pitch position. Continuing back, seeing where I leave the dead band, where does N1 pick up. Alright, about there. So again, this now is just slightly further back, and I'd much prefer that the case, that you can get flat pitch without leaving the dead band rather than the other way, where you leave the dead band before you get there. It's much better easier to control taxi speed and much less sandblasting the propellers if you can truly get the blades flat without picking up any power. And let's check this the other way too. Going forward to see how much the dead band exists in front of idle. Not very much, we hope. There it is, picking up just like the other side. About half an inch down here, an inch up at the knob position before it picks up. So, in theory, the dead band is supposed to exist up to the top of the white stripes, or red and white stripes, or in the case of the later console C90B, 350, so forth, the ground fine stop. That's the beta range, should be dead band. pick up past that in the later airplanes, just continue back here in the stripes in this earlier airplane. And that's when we leave the dead band and should be having the N1 pick up at that point. Now we're in a nice clean run-up area here. I would not want to do this if there's any gravel around at all. But let's now take a look at full reverse and see what N1 and torque we get at that point. So coming on back. Was picking up. And full reverse should be around 85 plus or minus 3%. I'm saying 84%. That brought the prop up to about 1700. Torque about 550. There's full reverse. Let's check the other side. About 85% exactly. 1680. Torque about 600. Very close together, left and right side for reverse check. Only do that in a nice clean run-up area. And although probably we could do both together, I prefer one at a time. Less chance of having so much reverse thrust. We tend to rock the airplane back on the tail at that point. Hope that's been helpful for you for understanding the Beta and reverse ranges. Thanks for watching.